So now we're going to talk about two cases that were used in the U.S. Copyright Office's notice that they put out and show a really interesting idea of what's authorship. Who is the creator? So the first one is the CCNV. That's the Community for Creative Nonviolence. There's a homeless advocacy group who commissioned a work artist James Reid created of people in front of a grate and looking over it, just like Jesus was left in the manger. These were homeless people this day over a grate being left out of their society. And so when it came to ownership, the CCNV said, wait, that's our sculpture, our copyright, because we said the ideas. Much like prompting. Can you connect where they're going here? We said the ideas. Then it just executed it like a machine. Now the courts took a look back and forth on what went on, and it became obvious that James Reid did a lot more than just execute it as a sculptor. He had to draw a lot more into creating that. And so he showed that the expression came from him taking those directions and outputting it. In a way, we might call him what AI is. He got the prompts and he came out, and since he created it, there's the ownership. That's one of the really weird areas here. Is it the person requesting it, or is it the thing being created? And the weird thing with AI is we don't know where all that comes from, and it rarely repeats itself in a way that we can rely on in terms of imagery, words, content. So is it just a digital roulette wheel like they say? There is an element of truth there. The second case cited that I pulled out was the Andrian case from 1991, where the Southern Ocean County Chamber of Commerce had some maps drawn up. So when Louis Andrian asked a printer to rescale and print his collection of maps and specific instructions, exactly what to do, he claimed authorship for the final work, giving the details. The Third Circuit Court had to determine if following detailed instructions qualifies as creative authorship. And the finding was, when simple transcription, quote unquote, creates the final form, original creator keeps the copyright. The Andrian case shows the difference between creative guidance and mechanical execution. And in this case, they were maps. So the intent wasn't just create a sculpture and then the artist takes it to another level, which in CCNV versus Reid gave Reid the copyright. In this case, there was so much intellect that it really was a case of the machine just outputting it. That's the argument, even from 1965, from Kamenstein, that said, if it's assisted, we can get a copyright. We're working with the machine, but if the machine creates it, there's no copyright. So the courts found in this case that the instructions were more important than what the machine was just doing what it was told. So this is where it defines between a tool and creative expression. Remember that New York Times? Because they're trying to actually get their own content. And if they did, snap. This is really an opening because of that creative prompting. So these two cases create a framework for evaluating AI authorship and were cited in the document because they really come to the key of the idea or the creation. And AI is a really gray area. We can say it is, we can say it isn't, but we really don't know what's coming out from the many engineers I talk with. And that's where it's not only weird, but it demands something new, doesn't it? Does the person directing the work, human or AI, add creative elements beyond the original concept? That's why in the map case, they lost because they really didn't add anything. Where in the artist case, Reid, they won because the artist added to the idea. See, it's all in that expression. That's where the real gold is. Are they making creative choices in execution or just following instructions? That's the argument against AI. It's just following instructions and doing math and coming up with something like a roulette wheel. The answers help determine who qualifies as an author under copyright law. So now, how do we apply it to the creators? What are you going to do with these findings?